Now in the next presenter, we have Mr. Eric McComber, also known as Dirt. I don't know why they call him that. I never found out, but he's here to make a presentation on fishing and hunting and keeping alligators away. So as you see, our waters around Kahnawake are free of alligators thanks to Eric.
My name's Eric McComber. They call me Dirt. For the last 50 plus years, that's another story, Stephen. You know, that's another story how I got that name. But anyway, I'm here to, I fish for a living. I hunt. I trade with other First Nations, primarily First Nations, but I do trade and barter with non-natives. How I got started was my dad. When I was a little boy, maybe, I guess about 10 years old, we'd be on the river, and I'd go with him all the time. So that's how I got to know the river. And I went away, became an iron worker. Then I guess I finally found my place, my true calling, the road that I'm on. Hunting and fishing. I started about 30 years ago doing what I'm doing now, even while I was still iron working. And I walked away from iron work to do what I do now. And I look at it this way. I look in the mirror. I have to have faith and believe in that guy to provide for my family every day and the community at large. So we have a slideshow. I have pictures and videos. These glasses are a tool that I use now to record things that I do, to show and teach. And I could narrate if you want. If you want to know what's going on in there, I'll tell you. But anyway, this is what I do. I do this day in, day out. When I get up in the morning till when I go to bed. You know, I smell like a dead perch every day. Every day. All my clothes smell like there's always blood on it. I don't get new clothes. I wear old clothes. I wear camo all the time because you can't tell if I'm dirty or not. But you could smell me if I have it on too long. You know, so this is what I do. And what I do here, like here, we're snagging sturgeon way up on the river. I don't know who this is with me. Could be my son and his gal Wakwa, or somebody from Six Nations. I'm teaching them how to snag fish. This is sturgeon, which I primarily target. I smoke sturgeon, I deep fry sturgeon, I make candy. With perch, I just fry it. White perch, that's my son and me. That picture's December 21st, Christmas Day last year. What is last year? 2023, Christmas Day. So we're on the river. Look how nice it is. We're way up in the river. So we snagged the sturgeon. There's a sturgeon that I got, and I make caviar with that. I snagged that. That's 82 pounds. I made caviar, so that's what I do for a living. Here I am preparing my smoker for my sturgeon. You know, I am not up to code here in Quebec standards, CFIA. We're on a res, and I'm gonna live and die on a res. So if it's not good enough for me, it's not good enough for you. You know, so everything I do is sustenance, I guess you would call it in the long run. And I do this for a living. And when I talk to people, I try to show them what to do. They might not be able to do it as good as me ever, but at least I could get them to learn. Because right here in Kahnawake, it might not be big, but people got to understand that there's a lot here in Kahnawake. Besides the band council office and a couple of cigarette factories, we can't eat that or go there all the time begging. So here, this is me and my son and my grandkids. We're in Six Nations at the Sour Springs Longhouse. It was a great law here I'm in Oneida, Wisconsin, teaching Oneida women how to cook, and how to prepare. And that was at the Great Law Recital in Oneida, Wisconsin, and the prior one was in Sour Springs, Six Nations. So here's things that I do, and I'm willing to show anybody, teach anybody that wants to learn. But you got to learn on my time, not on your time. I didn't make it look pretty. Somebody else made it look pretty. I'm not a flowery guy. So it does look good. It tastes good. And that's salmon from the West Coast. I was in Capilano last year at a lacrosse tournament, and I know people there through my dad. And that's coho that I brought back, and I filleted, I smoked that, and all that. So that's the coho right there that I filleted. And again, where I work is in my backyard. If I was off the res, I get like about 80 fines a day for all kind of stuff, So, but here it is. Where we're here, I always tell people, if it's not good enough for me, Paula, my 7 kids, my 8 grandkids, it's not good enough for you. So I have a little bit of a standard of quality, and it's gunny quality, Ganiwagi quality, but it's always good. There's my smoked salmon. I marinate it, I marinate it, and then I glaze it with maple syrup that I try to one that I harvest myself on the north wall. If I run out, I cheat and I go to the chute and get canned syrup. So this is all things that everyone could learn. You don't have to be just a guy to learn it. That's the salmon I made, and that's blackberries I got right off my porch when my 2 grandkids helped me pick it. So I threw blackberries into the smoked salmon, and that's seasonal. Everything I do is seasonal because who we are right here. Not off the res, but here we are a 4-season people, the Mohawk people. Everybody in the Confederacy is a 4-season people. We got to utilize the seasons as we go through them, and that's what I do. I utilize the seasons. There's never any downtime for me. I make downtime for myself whenever I want. And with me, the things that I do. That's bullhead from Lake Richelieu River. I trade with Frenchmen, and they work too. So you know what? I don't always I work with a lot of people that aren't from here, and there's good people out there. A little bit of them, and so this is all what I do. I trade, I buy, I sell, but primarily with First Nations. I do that with. But if I have to reach out, I will. So here we are again. My son's in. I had to come home from Six Nations Great Law Recital. That's in BC. Right here is. I had to leave to come home for 1 day, or whatever. So he took over because I taught him. He knew enough to carry the day. With those other guys, all those cigar store Indians around and watching him, not doing nothing in their hand, they're just waving. But he could carry the day now because I showed him what to do, and now he could do it. So my primary, here I am in Capilano on a Squamish reservation. I was at a lacrosse tournament. I was still playing lacrosse, so I brought my own sturgeon, perch, moose sausage, deer sausages out there because that's sturgeon I'm filleting that I'm going to cook at a banquet. And I served my food, but they served their food. They had salmon, potato salad, salmon, fried bread, and salmon. So when I cooked, it was moose sausages, deer hot dogs, jerky, walleye, perch, and sturgeon. They don't have that out there. They only have salmon, and salmon, right? So I brought Mohawk food, Iroquois food out west to show them that there's more than just salmon. So, and here I am at a KSCS sponsored event by right at the Golden Agers. I had a filleting thing, and there we try to get all kids and anybody that wanted to learn, kids and older people, women. There's one over there. She tried her best. I made her, and here I make them eat their own fillets. I cook. I showed them how a real fillet is supposed to be, and then when they cook, when they fillet, I make them eat their own, and they offer me theirs. I say, I'm good, I'm good, So, and here I am at my office. This is the tent past the bridge. I call that my office here. I'm cooking. I was actually cooking for Dagari here at our meeting. So here it is like, it doesn't matter how much snow there is, how cold it is, I will always do something. I could always teach, and you can't always be taught in a classroom like this. That's a classroom outside. You got to fend for yourself. You got to be able to be warm. This is who I am, and this is who this community should be like. Like again, I go back to the Four Seasons people, that we got people right now bellyaching about there's too much snow. We need the snow. Talking about farming, we need the snow. The creeks need the snow, the river needs the snow, the fields need the snow. As it melts, that's our water supply. So here again, this is my son at home, cooking the way I showed him. Or else in Ganyang, he stays in Ganyang, he either cooked at home or at the cookhouse, and he does community lunches and all that. So he knows what he's doing. So he knows how to cook the way I cook. So that's what I try to teach people. Doesn't matter who, if you're willing to learn, I'll show you, Again, in this modern day age, even in Ganiwagi, there's too much convenience. Nobody wants to get cold, wet, tired, sore, miserable, bloody, stinky. Nobody wants that. But this is life, This is life. If you could do it yourself. Here I am shooting ducks last week. I'm shooting ducks last week. It's a little bit dark, but I'm shooting ducks right on the north wall. You can see LaSalle in the back. I shoot ducks, so I harvest ducks too. I harvest ducks, geese, I make jerky, I make sausage, and this is our sustenance. And what it is, a lot of people here in our residence, see, these are ducks and geese. People think we need a time to eat. 300, 400, 500, 600, 1,000 years ago, we're hungry, we went out and harvested. That's, and that is our right, our inherent right. Not just one day that there'll be a 50% card at Costco's. We don't need Costco's. If you get back to who we are, there's no preservatives in there. There's nothing in there. There's everything you need is in there. The nourishment. It's all lean food that we eat. Here I'm showing these guys how to clean a geese. I'm showing them how to. These young boys. I'm showing them, or young men how to do that. They've never been shown that. We're too easy to pick up a phone and we can't cover our baskets no more. It's burnt. They're burnt down. But I mean, as long as you know how to clean, to harvest, clean, and cook, we're good. A lot of people just don't want to do it. Do not want to learn. It's too dirty, smelly. Here I am getting deer for Ganyangi, a harvest deer. Deer in New York State is a problem. They go through people's windows. So we try to cut down on the herd, and I give a lot to Ganyangi. I bring a lot back for myself and what I do for powwows, but that's all the deer that I do. I give it away. I butcher it there. I skin it there with my son, and I bring these boys with me. I teach them how to skin, butcher, and then I cook for them. See, this is all part of who every man in Ganawagi, in the Confederacy, that's what we're supposed to be able to do. That's what we're supposed to be able to do. Not just give it away to somebody, let them do it. Do it yourself. Here I am with a moose from Rusty Bush. I went and go there. I trade with other First Nations. Look, this kid is 6'4". Look at the moose. They're going to show me next thing. But this is all food that I trade. I give a lot away. I give a lot away, but I don't want to see you all in my park in my driveway today. If you are, bring a shovel. But I do give a lot away. Yes, I do make a living doing this, but I give a lot away. Mostly all that's for powwows, and I do sell it, but I do cook it at events. So again, going back to sustenance, everything that has fur, fins, and feathers around us was given to us for us to utilize. not just because there's a sale at Costco, all vacuum packages. I could do that, you know, but this is how all it's supposed to be. You know, you could always doctor it up and cook it the way you want, you know, but if you harvest, butcher it yourself, skin it, butcher it yourself and cook it, it means a lot more, you know, and when people that are with me, I showed them how to do it, you know, and here I am boiling sap on the north wall. I'll be there soon, you know, and plain and simple. You know, there's no technology here. A couple of cinder blocks, a frame, and I got all the trees around me. I collect dead wood and I boil sap there. I'm there eight hours a day alone. You know, sometimes I get volunteers or my niece or my sister. You know, they watch me, and at the end of they watch me. They get all smoky, and then at the end of the process, I give them a quart for participating. You know, so but again, it's easy to go by stuff, right? Here, you learn, you know, you got to walk, this year you got to walk your snow up to past your knees, so I will do that. You know, so a lot of people, again, convenience is too convenient, right? So if you learn a little bit on your own, as you give it away or serve it, you appreciate it more, because this is what we're supposed to be doing anyhow, you know? So the learning process here is people have jobs, yes, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever. This is my job, you know. So like I said, 30 years in, this is my job now, and I don't make a whole lot of money, but I'll never starve, and anybody around me will never starve. You know, as long as you're taught and you learn, you could do this. You know, and it's very good food. Again, this is food from 1,000 years back that we used to eat. You know, it's all lean. The way you prepare it, okay, we're not bears. You know, we season it up. We make it taste good. But if you eat it every day or a lot, it's lean. It's lean. You know, and everything I do, it's manual. It's all labor intensive if somebody was to come with me, whereas with me, it's just what I do. Whether it's hard or not, I do it anyway. You know, because I know I got to do it, and it's not a race to me to do what I got to do. I get it done. You know, with anybody that comes with me, it might be real challenging for them, but if they're a man, I remind them that you're a man. You're supposed to be able to do this. You know, you're not supposed to bellyache. You know, complain, whine, you know, and don't worry about your nails. You know, they'll be red with blood, not with nail polish. You know, so that's what I need. When I invite people or people ask to come with me, I do what I do, and I don't butter it up. I'm old school. I'm a teacher, but I'm not a nice teacher. But I am an old school teacher, you know, and with old school, you will learn. I'm not going to give you a high five. I am not going to give you a hug. I am going to yell at you. I'm going to correct you repeatedly. You know, I want to put you under severe stress, because I need you to understand that if you have as many kids as me, you got to feed them. You have to be able to do this, and if you can't do it under stress and pressure, maybe this isn't for you. Keep your Costco card, right? So, and again, everybody around me should notice. In other reses, you have people like me, but maybe not to the extent of what I do for sustenance. You know, so again, with everything I do, I try to be communal, meaning that I want to show a lot of people what I do so they could try it, and then carry that on their kids or their grandkids. Like I got grandkids. I want them all to learn this too. You know, so this what I do, and other members in the community do it, but not to the extent that I do it, and for the length of time that I've been doing it is a good thing. You know, and this isn't a pastime for me. It's a career, I guess. You know, it's a lifestyle, and it works for me. It might not work for everybody else, you know, but it works for me, you know. And I encourage people to even come and try to learn. You know, come and try to learn. Don't be scared to pass for baskets and go to my house. You know, I'll give you a pass. But you got to come and ask me. You know, I'm not on social media. I have a phone. You could call me or text me or go to my house. You know, I'm always around. But you have to have that old school mentality. In Kahnawake here is that you have to have a hard face. You know, people today are ashamed of that. They're too soft today. They're weak. You know, they're not inquisitive. They grab their phone and, you know, YouTube and Google can't yell at you. You know, I could. You know, but I teach. You know, like I said, I teach brutally, but I teach the right way that I think I know, that you will never starve. You know, your family will always eat good. You know, and again, looking at Kahnawake on a map, it looks like a big nipple. You know, a big nipple. Just like that, a triangle. But the river, people don't understand that the river, in my ma's and dad's generation, and before that, they relied on the river for sustenance, you know. So now, people think the river's so far away due to the seaway. It's not, it's right there. But people complain it's so far away as they drive back from Plattsburgh, or we just drove from Florida. But they don't want to drive 20 minutes to go to the Flat Rocks. It's too far, you know. And that river, regardless of the seaway being there, it is what it is. The river is still there for us. It hasn't, we're not detached from that river. You detach yourself from the river. And that river provides. If society went down the drain today, I'd be good, you know. It's the river provides. There's fish, there's animals, there's ducks, geese. There's a lot here in Kahnawake. You know, if you look at that map again, on the outskirts, you got Chattagee. It's all houses, Saint Constant, farmland, and now all condos. So we're technically only the only green space around. You know, you got a lot of animals coming back here. You know, I don't harvest here in the bush. I don't need to. I don't need to. So I go elsewhere to harvest. I work with other First Nations. I work with Senecas. I work with other Mohawks. You know, Tyendinaga. Yeah, I work all there. I work on the other side of the border. So I have all these outsources, all these contacts. You know, so you got to be able to expand. With a sustenance, what I do, harvest and trade. So the river again is people don't even notice it. They do not notice. Kahnawake, there's that name, by the rapids, on top of the rapids. People have no pride in the name Kahnawake or Kahnawake itself. Go over the river, I look at that river every time I go over that bridge. Night or day, I look at it every day. You know, all the time I'm over it. And I'm on it or near it all the time. You know, for the last 50 plus years, I've been on it. So a lot of people in town got to understand in this community that the river provides for us. Not just because there's enough room for my brand new pontoon to go into the bay and, you know, drop anchor. Utilize the river. Utilize the river. People say it's polluted. You go to Costco, whatever you call, how do you know it's not polluted? You know, they're going to lie their ass off. They're there for money. You know, here you catch, harvest, you utilize it yourself, and you serve it to your family, you're good. You've learned something, right? You've learned something. And that is worth more than a Costco card, I think. You know? So there's a lot more to Gunawaga than people realize, instead of complaining about they didn't plow my road, you know, or all this. So the sustenance available in the community right now is a lot. But people have got spoiled, soft, and weak. Because now, to go out, the bellyache starts as soon as they open the door. They bellyache right away. You know, stop the bellyaching, man up and get over it. You know, and learn, get out there. Fresh air is really, really good. No matter what, you know, you have to be able to enjoy what's given to us every day. And every day there's something to do in Gunawaga if you were to provide for yourself and your family. You know, I'm not saying it's easy, but in the long run, there are shortcuts. But when I teach people, they want the shortcut right away. I call that cheating. I would like to have done that in high school and cheat, but you know, I probably did. But but to learn, I want people to learn the old school hard way. And then later on, they stick with me long enough, then I'll show them some of my shortcuts or tricks. I'm not going to give them up right away. You know, if you're only there for the shortcut, well, then you're not. You got to get out of my boat. You know, get out of my boat. Shore's over there. Swim to shore. You know, so again, there's a lot more than people think about this community. Lots. You could survive in this community, you know, on a couple of things, but the food that's available here in the wild, in the river, it'll keep you slim and trim. I mean, maybe not all, but it keeps me slim and trim for how old I am. You know, so is there any questions about the, because people want to sell me fish here. Does anybody want to know anything? Oh, my favorite niece is, wait, let me put my glasses on and record this. There, I'm going to record you. My glasses.
How much pride and love do you feel when your boys come on the water with you, and you know that the knowledge will survive?
To what?
How much pride and love do you feel when your boys come on the water and you know this knowledge will continue?
Well, with River, the other ones, you know, they're not all like their dad. You know, so at least River knows how to do it. Like I said, he could carry on. My other ones are, Jamie could do it, Neats, half-ass, Kobe, not yet, Najee, not at all, you know, but yeah, you know, it's like, when I used to go on the boat with my dad, you know, like, I did, you know, so I never thought that later on that, like, this would be my true calling. You know, but it ended up it is. So even anybody that wants to get on my boat, I'm happy, you know, because whether it's a man or a young boy or anybody that wants to get on the boat, they will learn. They'll get fresh air. They'll see the river in a way they never saw it, you know, because the river is really big. From the rapids to Bohorn, we got like 50, 60 square miles of river, which is, you know, is our inherent waterways to harvest. So anybody that really comes with me is, you know, again, I'll never turn away free labor, you know, because it's not a 3-hour tour when they come out with me. It's work, and but they'll learn that you again.
Yeah, because I know you do a lot of like our foodways is very political, and you cross the border, and I know there's a lot of like shenanigans. So do you get support from community or tribe or whatever when it comes to
transporting over the border?
Just being like not recognizing the border.
Well, in the past, Last year, I think it was this just past October, November. But prior to that, I was allowed to bring deer over from Cattaraugus, U-Town. But anyway, Cattaraugus, and all they had to do was be emptied. I'd be stopped at the border at customs on Cornwall Island, and they would stop me. I said, "Got deer." They'd pull me over, and some of them would just want to see if there's deer. Just want to see, mostly men, the custom agents. So they get out, they open my truck, and sometimes I always be butchered in totes. But then I'd bring whole deer back, they want to see it. You know, it's no problem. So this past year, in I guess October, November, they stopped me in Cornwall Island again at customs, and they told me I had to bring it back because CWD, chronic wasting disease. And they gave me a big lecture. I says, "Come on now." So I had to go back. I dropped it back up in Yangi, and then I brought it back quartered. So they don't want the head or the spine. But the year before, in that video, in 2023, it's not recording anyway. But in 2023, as I was going to Oneida, Wisconsin, I was going to pick up River, Wukwa, and the babies to go to Wisconsin. So I brought sturgeon, salmon, white perch to bring over there, and going through Moore's, Hemmingford, they said, "What do you got?" I said, "I got fish, what kind?" So I said, "Sturgeon, perch, and all that." So the guy got over, he looked, and he went on the computer, he turned me back around, he said, "It's illegal in New York State. It's endangered in New York State." I said, "I didn't get you in New York State. I'm going to feed our people." They turned me around, I had to unload it. By the time River came back to the house, picked me up, I got there, we went through Dundee, Fort Covington, and already when they pulled me over, they ran my plate, they called inside the customs, the fishman's here. They already knew it from an hour later. So in the last when that happened in August of 2023, for the next 6 months, all the time I was going to see River or going to Messina, Augustine, U-Town, or Onondaga to get Crisco for her meat pies. But they would pull me over and search the truck. You know, just say, I always bring coolers with me. So they're looking in the back, as if I'm hiding fish underneath my seats. I just remind them, watch out, I got full of knives in there, you might get zapped. So that has been happening to me, but now after, I guess, I've been red flagged. So as long as you have it quartered, and again, the argument was that a deer is from New York State, has a New York State residence. When he walks over the border, he's illegal. You know, they're so stupid. But I mean, this is their policies on the U.S. side is different compared to Canadian side. So there was meetings through the council with Dennis Taibo and all that, with a new guy. So these are issues that I was used to bring perch from Vermont to, then they start stopping me. You know, they stopped me in Vermont and in the island too. So these are issues that people shouldn't be get worried or scared. The worst they can do is turn you back. That's all. You know, you can put up a political fight and all that, but that's for our council. So I tell people, when something happens to me, I go to the council, not quietly either, and I usually go to meetings and I let the people know in the meeting, well, this is your job to do, to protect and utilize, for me and everybody else in the community, utilize our rights. You know, so that's